friends? Alright, so I'm just doing like a casual sit down chit-chatty talk thing because I haven't put up a new video since like my Mommy Monday bump video, and even though that was only like Monday, I felt a little bit disconnected from you guys, and I haven't really done like a sit down chit-chatty talk thing with you, and I thought that I would, and it seems like there's a couple of you who are actually interested, so I thought that I would go ahead and do it. And I've also thought about doing like semi regular like daily vlogs, or like a day in the life vlog. Like I don't really know how those works, but you know what I'm talking about, just like daily-ish vlogs. Like I don't think I'd be able to do it every single day. But then I'm like, well, my life isn't really that exciting. Why would you want to watch that? It would just be kind of like, why would you want to see me do this or do that? But if that's something that you think you guys would watch, comment below, or like or something, just to kind of give me feedback to let me know if that's something that you would like, and then I can know that to go ahead and give that a shot. So yeah. So what is going on with me? So this week I've been really blah. Someone that I know passed away this week, and it was pretty tragic. Like I've just been so, and it's a situation, like it's a complicated situation that I don't think I'm going to get into. I think I'm just going to keep it as that. It's a complicated situation, but it's a confusing time for me. And I found out on Tuesday, and I've been walking around all week with like, I just feel sick to my stomach. Like, do you ever, when you get bad news, you just feel like you're gonna throw up? I've been feeling like that. And it's if you felt that way, it's a sucky feeling, and I'm just, so without like saying names or without, whatever, just if you can, I believe in God, so I've just been praying for that family, and if you just think in your head like, hey, there's this family, God, who these people are, I pray that you bless them or whatever, because that's just, what I've been kind of like dealing with. So I've just been, well, I haven't really been on like social media that much, because it's just what I do when I get all bummy. But so like I'm not good at dealing with death. Like people that are close to me, it's like I don't deal with it well. And even with people who aren't, like you guys saw with like the school shooting back in December, I mean, that I didn't know anybody personally, and that really rocked me. This situation, like I said, is complicated, and even though I believe in God, I've never dealt with death well. And I had a conversation with like a mentor type person this week, and she was talking to me about death and all that, and I'm just like, oh, it's one of those topics that's frustrating, because it's one of those things where you can be like, well, if you trust in God, or if you believe in this, or you believe in that, then you should have comfort. And I'm like, I personally struggle with that, because if you believe in God, but say the person that you loved died, but they did not believe in God, then like, how do you take comfort in that? There were the last moments of their life, you don't know what their heart change was with God. Like you don't know, so you can't judge that. But like if you don't know 100%, so you can't take 100%, comfort in that. It's all complicated. I don't take the same kind of comfort as other people do. Some people are like, oh, it's better, this or that. I don't take that same comfort. So I get really, really depressed. And with the amount of death that I've faced in my life, and especially the last 4 years, the amount of death and the closeness to me. So like this April will mark 4 years since my best friend died. And like from that point on, I lost my grandfather, and then like some of you might be like, well, this doesn't count, but my dog. But she was my like baby. I had her for 15 years. And then shortly after that, my grandmother. And my grandparents raised me. They were like my parents. So I lost my best friend and my parents and my companion in like a very short period of time, all within like 2.5, 3 years. I'm spent. I'm done. And before that, I had already had like my share. There's that. Another thing, we're moving. So the house that we're in now, we're not staying in. Their daughter is coming back from college, and they would like to let her live in the house, which is fine because the house ended up being more, they want to raise the rent $100 more than it already is right now. Plus the utilities are twice as expensive than we thought it was going to be. The person that lived here before us, we know, and I asked her what the utilities were, and she told us, and right now we're paying double what she paid in utilities. And then plus they want to raise the rent by another $100, which would be $1,200 more a year. And it's just, and the house is really old, so it's not very efficient. And I'm not trying to be like ungrateful, because there are people that, you know, I realize that are less fortunate. This would be like a grand palace. So I'm not saying that at all, but you know, for the money that we're spending, you know, I think that we can be more efficient for that, and to end up having to pay more, like $100 more a month. The only thing that I'm really bummed about is that we have a really, really, really big backyard. I'm looking at it right now, and I loved seeing the deer out there, and sometimes there's ducks and geese, and you could see the squirrels, and that makes me really sad, because I think Winnie really enjoys that, and that makes me bummed, and I'm not looking forward to moving. And the other thing is our lease ends on July 31st. But like, how do you know that you're going to find a place by that date? And we started looking like in January. We found a 3-bedroom apartment at the exact place that I want to be at. And it's by our church, it's by school, it's in a great location, in a great complex that I love. And for a 3-bedroom apartment, in January, they were one price, and now they're $400 more. That is a huge price. So, and it's like supply, demand, and how many are available, and there's all these different factors. And during the summer, they're probably going to be even more expensive, because that's when people move. So we're probably going to we're just going to be like SOL. And who knows if there'll be availabilities. And so right now there's an availability like at the end of March or at the end of May. But if our lease isn't up until July 31st, I don't have any idea if there's going to be another one. And the apartments can only look 60 days in advance. So right now they can't tell me if there's going to be one in June, and they can't tell me if there's going to be one in July, if you know what I'm saying. So that's the bummer thing. And then we were planning on going back to California, because that's like what we were going to do every summer. And my husband has a work thing that we're doing in June, so we're going to go back in June. But it would be nice to like have been able to move. And we had talked to our landlords before about letting us out of our lease early, and they said, well, we'll see. And I'm like, well, are you going to let us out or not? But they said they would like a 90 days notice. Well, if we wanted to move out by June, we would have to let them know now, like as a 90-day notice, which would let us out by June. But I don't know if we're going to have a place by June. And how do I, like, and then I would hate to get a place and then all of a sudden see a better deal for July. I don't know. I don't know how people move. I don't know how this works. And so I've even like expanded the search to look at other areas, to look at houses, apartments, townhomes, like different options. And everything is kind of like the same price. And I'm just feeling discouraged, and I'm feeling really stressed out, because moving is a big deal, and we have all this stuff, and I just kind of want to be settled, you know. In 2011, January 2011, we moved across the country, moved from California to North Carolina. That was a big move. And then we were with my in-laws for a year and a half. So we moved into this house August 2012, but we were in California, so we left at the end of May of 2012 to go to California, and we didn't come back to North Carolina until the beginning of August. So from like the end of May until the beginning of August, we were living out of a suitcase, traveling, and like staying at a friend's house. And we came back, we moved into this house, which I still never fully unpacked, because then when we realized probably in like December-ish that we probably weren't going to be staying here. And I'm like, well, what's the point? So wherever we end up is also the place that I would like to stay until we figure out like if we're buying a house or where we're going. I just want to be somewhere for a couple years. Do you know what I mean? That's why I'm like, well, like we could also look at, the reason why we're looking at 3 bedrooms is because my husband works from home. And right now we have 3 bedrooms. So my daughter's in a room, we have a bedroom, and then he has an office, and then that's where I film. We could do a 2-bedroom. That would mean that our bedroom would be our office as well. And it would be very tight to have like the bed plus office space, which people do, and that's like totally first world problems. I'm not like, that sounds so like spoiled, I guess. And if you do that, can you like chit chat with me about it? Because, and this is just how I'm trying to visualize it, especially when I'm looking at the apartments that we want to move into that would make it convenient, because we also share one car. I think that's the other thing that's kind of important, is that we share one car. So when we're trying to like situate church and like school or like things that I need to go to, so like I do MOPS, which is mothers or preschoolers, I would be able to walk to church if I needed to, or my husband would be able to walk to school like if he needed to, if we were in this complex. That's why I'm like pressing so much for this complex. Plus it's nice and it's like, it's safe and it's clean. But it would make the fact that we have one car a lot easier, where right now we really kind of like are very like all over the place. The 3 bedrooms are like really spacious and big, and you're like, oh, okay. But then when you get to the 2 bedrooms, the 2 bedrooms are small, and I'm kind of like, well, why can't you just make the 2 bedrooms a little bit bigger? But whatever. But the 2 bedrooms, it's like they're really small. So when I'm picturing our bed in there, I'm like, barely a dresser we could fit a dresser, but I don't know where a desk would go. And then I'm like, well, we could like get in the closet or something. Like, so I'm not sure what to really do about that. And at the same time, it's like, well, we want to save some money. We want to get ahead in life. And yeah, there's things that we want, you know, like for me, I'm like, well, if we're going to be somewhere, I want to be comfortable and I want to be happy. And these are wants, these are not needs. And we're already living a life of luxury. Like I have to keep reminding myself that people would give to have what we have. And so I need to really give myself a reality check and be humble about that. Cause I'm like, well, I don't want a 2-bedroom apartment. I want a 3-bedroom apartment, or I want a 3-bedroom house, or whatever. I want. I need to kind of like remind myself that it's a luxury. I need to, you know. So I keep like having this battle with myself where I'm like, well, maybe you just need to accept a 2-bedroom, you know, and save a little bit of money and this and that and this and that. Ugh. So that's what I'm going through. The other thing is tantrums. Like, I'm not going to lie, like right now, before I came in here to film, I was in tears because my daughter has really been trying me with her tantrums, and it's hard to sometimes not feel like a failure as a parent. And I don't give in to things like And it's tempting to like want to be like, here, just have this, or here, just like give in just to get her to stop. But we went out today. I wanted to give my husband some space to do homework. Oh, there's a really pretty bird right there. Anyways, we went out with a friend. So it's one of Winnie's like little friends, and she was excited to see her. But I had Winnie in her stroller, and her friend was in the cart. And once Winnie saw that she was in the cart, she started throwing a fit. And, you know, and it was tempting for me to just be like, fine, I'll just take the stroller back out to the car and get you a cart. And it's like, no, like I'm not going to give in just because you're throwing a fit. And she started screaming, and people are like walking by, and I know, and it's like, you can just like hear them being like, just shut your kid up. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to give in to her and like just give her what she wants. And eventually, you know, and I got down to her level, and I'm trying to talk with her, and she's not listening to me. And I'm saying, I'm like, look, do you want to be, you know, in the cart with your friend? And you know, I'm trying to like talk her through this. And I said, look, if you promise to sit on your bottom, I will let you, you know, sit in the cart with your friend, and you know, you guys can share your animal crackers. And she calmed down, and she finally said yes. And, you know, I had like, in the beginning, if she had been like calm, and, you know, and I realized it must be like hard to expect a little child to be calm, but like to have the tantrums like that, which is something I've been trying to work on her with. But that happened. And then we went to a different store, and she didn't get what she wanted. She started like touching things and like really digging into things that she shouldn't. And when I stopped her from doing that, she like threw herself on the floor in the middle of the aisle and started to scream this high-pitched, wailing scream. And my blood pressure starts to rise, my heart starts to pound, and it's been something that has been going on for a while, and I have had it. I have literally had it, and I've tried all these different methods. And the other night, she actually she started to kick me, and I'm just like, oh heck no. And I remember as a kid, my grandpa, all he had to do was like narrow his eyes, and he'd look at me, and I'd stop. Like I would stop what I was doing. And I don't know, but she is tough. And my patience is being tried. And ever since the time change, people are like, why do people make such a big deal over the time change? Since the time change, she has refused her naps. And now she won't take a nap at all. And then without taking any naps at all, her attitude is even worse. So moms out there, help me, please. I'm not going to be that mom that just gives their kid whatever they want to get the outcome. Because it was tempting. It was tempting to just be like, fine, here, do whatever you want if it means that you're just going to be quiet. That you're just going to let me do what I want. That you're just going to let me shop in peace. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to like feed into this and let her become this little monster that gets whatever she wants. That's not how I'm going to raise her. She needs to learn that we have lines, and these lines are not going to be crossed, and you're not going to get whatever you want just because you throw a tantrum. But it is so hard when people are looking at you and they're judging you, and you know it, and they just want you to make your kid stop. I want to make my kid stop. I had to carry her out to the car, and I was holding her, and she was flailing. Oh, it was so bad. And then she screamed the whole way home. So anyways, this whole like vlog. So the good news, after like all this other rambly stuff, the good news is in a few weeks, I'm going to New York, and Brianna's going. I love Jessie 444 because you all know that I talk about her all the time on my channel. And we are going to be there together. We are actually sharing a hotel room. That is going to be pretty funny, I think. But I'm excited. So we are going to go. We are going to be at IMATS on Saturday. We decided to just do Saturday. So if you are going to be at IMATS, leave a comment below or tweet. Tweet me, Twitter me, tweet me. I've gotten together with Danielle from La Puga a couple times, which is super exciting because now we're friends and I have so much fun. I love like meeting people and having fun, but I talk a lot, and like I was telling her that it's hard with the videos because I talk a lot. So I have these videos that are like this long and I'm like, I can't put that up. And so I wish that I could talk to every single one of you in person, because then I would probably make sense. Instead I like edit everything. I'm like, yep. So I will talk to you all soon. Mwah. Bye.